Do you remember the days when summer meant disappearing until the streetlights came on? When a scraped knee was a badge of honor, not a reason to call a lawyer? If you grew up in the 1970s, your childhood was radically different from what kids experience today. Some changes have been wonderful, others, well, let's just say we might have lost something special along the way. Join me as we take a journey back to a time of shag carpets, rotary phones, and freedoms that would shock modern parents. Buckle up, this trip down memory lane might just make you nostalgic for simpler times. Remember when "be home by dinner" was the only GPS tracking you needed? In the 70s, kids as young as 6 or 7 roamed the neighborhood freely. You'd hop on your banana seat bike, no helmet of course, and explore for hours. Your parents had no idea where you were, and that was perfectly normal. You might be at the creek, the playground, or halfway across town at a friend's house. Today, many children don't walk to school alone until middle school, if ever. Parents use apps to track their kids' every movement. The average distance a child is allowed to roam from home has shrunk by 90% since the 1970s. Were our parents neglectful? No, the world felt safer, and community ties were stronger. Everyone knew their neighbors, and there were always eyes on the street. Today's parents face judgment and even legal consequences for giving kids the same independence we once took for granted. When we were bored in the 70s, we had 3 TV channels, and programming ended at night with the national anthem. So what did we do? We got creative. We built forts from couch cushions. We played elaborate make-believe games that lasted for days. We created entire worlds with just sticks, rocks, and imagination. Board games like Monopoly could consume an entire rainy afternoon. We read books, comics, and actually looked forward to the weekly trip to the library. Today's children have unlimited entertainment at their fingertips. Streaming services, video games, tablets, smartphones. The average child spends 7 hours a day on screens. They're never bored because boredom has been engineered away. But here's the thing, boredom was a gift. It forced us to be creative, to problem solve, to use our imagination. We learned to entertain ourselves, and in doing so, we developed resilience and creativity that served us throughout life. Summer evenings in the 70s had a magic that's hard to explain to anyone who didn't live it. The neighborhood would come alive after dinner. Kids poured out of every house for games of kick the can, ghost in the graveyard, or flashlight tag. We climbed trees until our mothers called us for dinner, not from cell phones, but by literally yelling our names from the front porch. That call echoing through the neighborhood meant your freedom was temporarily suspended. We played until we could barely see, until the fireflies came out and our sweaty clothes stuck to our backs. We came home exhausted, dirty, and happy. Today, organized activities have replaced spontaneous play. Soccer practice, tutoring, scheduled playdates, childhood has become a series of appointments. Only about 10% of kids today play outside regularly, compared to when we were young. Concerns about safety, stranger danger, and legal liability have put an end to the unsupervised outdoor play that defined our generation. We fell a lot, from trees, off bikes, during dodgeball games that would give modern safety officers heart attacks. And you know what happened? We got back up. We brushed ourselves off, maybe got a Band-Aid, and kept playing. Our parents didn't rush us to the emergency room for every bump and bruise. Teachers didn't call home over every playground conflict. We learned to navigate disappointment too. Everyone didn't get a trophy, only winners did. If you struck out in baseball, you sat down and felt that sting of failure. If you didn't make the team, you dealt with that disappointment. It hurt, but it taught us resilience. Today's children are more protected than any generation in history. Playgrounds have rubber surfaces, schools have banned tag and cartwheels, and participation trophies ensure no one feels left out. The intention is noble, to protect kids from harm and emotional distress. But are we protecting them or preventing them from developing the resilience they need to handle adult life? We learned that failure wasn't fatal, that pain was temporary, and that we were tougher than we thought. Making plans in the 70s required actual effort and commitment.
You couldn't text running late or cancel with a quick message. If you said you'd meet your friend at the park at 2 o'clock, you showed up at 2 o'clock because there was no way to communicate otherwise. We passed handwritten notes in class, folded into elaborate shapes to arrange meetups. Our phone conversations were family affairs. You'd call your friend on the single house phone with that long coiled cord while your siblings eavesdropped and your mother reminded you she was expecting a call. Phone calls were events, not casual texts dashed off between activities. Friendships were deeper because they were face-to-face. You learned to read body language, tone of voice, and facial expressions. Conflicts couldn't be avoided with the tap of a screen. You had to work through them in person. Today, kids maintain hundreds of friends on social media but report feeling more lonely than ever. The average teenager sends 3,000 texts per month but struggles with face-to-face conversation. They document their lives for an audience rather than simply living them. The 70s food experience would horrify modern nutritionists. We drank Kool-Aid by the gallon, made with enough sugar to put us in orbit. TV dinners in aluminum trays were considered a treat. We ate sandwiches with Wonder Bread that you could compress into a ball. When we got thirsty outside, we drank from the garden hose, that warm, slightly rubber-flavored water that somehow tasted perfect on a hot day. Peanut butter was in every lunchbox. No one had heard of gluten sensitivity. Food allergies existed, but they were rare enough that schools didn't need policies about them. We traded lunches without fear, shared snacks freely, and no one batted an eye. Today, childhood nutrition is a minefield of restrictions and anxieties. School cafeterias are nut-free zones. Parents scrutinize ingredient labels like they're decoding enemy transmissions. Organic, non-GMO, gluten-free, dairy-free, the list of requirements grows longer every year. If a teacher, coach, or neighbor corrected you in the 70s, you didn't pull out your phone to call your parents. You listened and apologized. Teachers had authority in the classroom. If you misbehaved and the teacher called home, you got in trouble twice, once at school and again at home. Your parents supported the teacher, not questioned them. The phrase, "respect your elders," actually meant something. We said yes, sir, and yes, ma'am. We stood when adults entered the room. We helped neighbors with their groceries and mowed lawns for elderly residents. These weren't extraordinary acts of kindness, they were basic expectations. Today's dynamic between children and adults has shifted dramatically. Teachers face lawsuits for disciplining students. Parents challenge authority figures at every turn. Children are encouraged to question everything, which can be valuable, but it's also created a generation less accustomed to respecting expertise and experience. We learned that the world didn't revolve around us. That lesson served us well. Patience wasn't a virtue in the 70s, it was a necessity. You took photos and waited days or weeks to see if they turned out. If you missed your favorite TV show, you missed it. No DVR, no streaming, no second chances. You waited a week for the next episode, and that anticipation made it sweeter. Want to know a fact? You looked it up in an encyclopedia or made a trip to the library. Need to tell someone something important? You wrote a letter and waited days for a response. Christmas and birthdays were the only times you got new toys, so you treasured what you had. Today, instant gratification is the standard. Every question has an immediate answer. Every show is instantly available. Every desire can be fulfilled with next-day delivery. We learned that good things come to those who wait. We learned to delay gratification. We learned that anticipation and patience are part of what makes rewards meaningful. Were we healthier? Debatable. Did we have more freedom and less anxiety around food? Absolutely. Were the 70s perfect? Of course not. We're more aware of safety, nutrition, and child development today than ever before. But something was lost when childhood became scheduled, supervised, and sanitized. The independence we had, the resilience we built, the patience we learned, these weren't accidents. They were the natural results of a childhood spent outdoors, unsupervised, and unplugged. To those who remember these times, cherish those memories. They were real, they were valuable, and they shaped who you are. And maybe, just maybe, there are lessons from our 70s childhood that today's kids could benefit from too. What do you remember most about growing up in the 70s? Share your memories in the comments below.